Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about a few separate things about our upcoming pattern and how it's going to change a lot. We're going to see a lot more cold air and actually quite a few snow chances coming up as well. All of that coming up in this video. Now, before I get started with this video though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. Now, I'd also ask that you check out our very exciting Patreon page in the description and the pinned comment down below. Alright, now for today's comment of the day, I want to know: do you think that October is going to close out on a colder note for your area or on a warmer note for your area? Let me know why you think that. Let me know your area, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now let's get into this video, and we're going to be talking about how we're going to go from a pattern that looks like this, so warm in the east, cold in the northwest and the north central, to a pattern that looks like this, where we see a lot more of that cold make its way down into the south central United States. Some of the interior northeastern United States, it is going to reach the east coast in some points, but this is one of the colder frames of the model run, and also some snow chances like this, some odd ones like this one from Nebraska through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Do I think that this is probable? Not really, but we have been seeing the models show snowstorms like this throughout the last couple of days, so I'm thinking these are going to become more and more possible. Here's our first frame, and this is going to be today. So we're dealing with some warmer than normal conditions for most of the United States outside of the Pacific Northwest and the upper Midwest. A lot of warmth down there for the Southwest and the South Central especially, but also the eastern half of the United States as a whole. We're going to see that change in just a minute. We're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards Thursday afternoon and take a look at what the temperature pattern will look like by then. Now, as you can see, by Thursday afternoon, I would say maybe 2 p.m., we're seeing a significant change. We're seeing that cold front come through. Keep in mind, we talked about that nor'easter yesterday. That's going to be coming up at about Friday, Saturday timeframe, so we'll be watching for that as well as the cold air moves in. It's looking more and more likely that snow is going to be possible for Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, maybe even upstate New York as well, so we'll be watching for that just as much. Now, these green temperatures, that's where we're about maybe I'd say 10 to 15 degrees below average, so quite significant, especially there for, we see Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, those areas, all the way through into the Rockies, the upper Midwest, most of the plains as well. Still, the East Coast is dealing with some warmer than normal conditions. The Southeast ridge has been very strong. That's bad news coming up. If we see that continue throughout the winter, that's not going to be very good for snow and cold lovers. I am going to be updating that winter forecast at least one more time. By the end of November, we will have our official winter forecast, and I'm thinking that the Southeast ridge might be a lot stronger than I originally anticipated. What that will mean, well, we'll have to wait and see on my final winter forecast as I think about that more and more. Anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on towards Friday in just a moment, where we're going to see that cold air reach the East Coast, the Mid-Atlantic, a lot of the Gulf Coast as well. They're going to be dealing with some significantly below average temperatures according to this model. Alright, now here we are at about Friday at about 2 p.m. And as you can see, the upper Midwest is dealing with those greens still, which again is about 10 to 15 degrees below average. But now we're seeing the Mid-Atlantic and portions of the South Central United States, including the Gulf Coast there, dealing with those greens, again 10 to 15 degrees below average, but also the blues that are within the green. That's where we're dealing with 15 to 30 degrees below average. And actually, I think they're indicating that in Texas and Louisiana, we are actually about 20 to 30 degrees below average there. So quite significant. Also Virginia, North Carolina, even up through the Delmarva and into New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. Quite significant cool down there according to this model. And as we move towards Saturday here, Saturday afternoon, you could see that the Rockies, specifically the areas just to the east of the Rockies, are now dealing with a massive cool down. We're talking maybe 20 to even 35 degrees below average. That little purple area there, or magenta color in Canada, that's over 30 degrees below average. So very, very significant. The entire eastern United States is dealing with the cool down by the time we reach Saturday. It's going to be a pleasant weekend. We're going to be dealing with a really good fall pattern, I would say. It's going to feel a lot like it should this time of year, I would say. New England dealing with the 10 to 15 degrees below average there as well. And this is right around the time where we're going to start to see that snowfall coming through, which we're taking a look at right now. That's the tail end of that nor'easter. I will be updating the nor'easter soon if we need to, including a snowfall map and stuff. So we will be having all of that out for you guys very shortly. I might talk about it on my Facebook page actually later today. So if you want to, you can check that out in the description or the pinned comment. You can see New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont all dealing with some moderate snowfall, but also notice we have a clipper system coming through. The models have been trending at that being possible coming up. Wisconsin, Minnesota, the Dakotas could be dealing with a few inches of snow this weekend. I'll be talking about that possibly on the YouTube channel, but for sure on the Facebook page. So again, you can check that out if you would like. What we're going to do here is we're going to move on. We're going to move on towards Sunday afternoon and just take a look at some of the most brutal temperatures on this entire model run for a lot of the north central United States especially. And then finally, we're going to talk about that possible snowfall for some of the Ohio Valley coming up soon. All right, now here we are taking a look at Sunday afternoon, October 18th. And as you can see, remember those blues inside the greens that are about 15 to 30 degrees below average? Well, those are very widespread throughout the plains on this model run. According to this model, the European model is a little different. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. I want to compare those. The East Coast is near average. When you see those light oranges and light blues, that's pretty much as close to average as it gets. It is going to feel exactly how it should this time of year for many regions. Sunday afternoon. Sunday should be quite nice. Unless you're in the plains, it might be brutally cold. Let's take a look at those actual high temperatures. This is the high temperatures. Oh my gosh, if this was to play out, we have 47 degrees in Oklahoma City, Chicago 44, let's see, Minneapolis potentially 37 degrees. Very cold. It's not unheard of cold, but very cold here. Widespread upper 30s, lower 40s here, and then even up through Montana, Wyoming, some of the Dakotas, lower 30s, Minnesota as well. Extremely cold. More like a late November, early December temperature pattern we're going to be in. And again, it's because we have temperatures that are about 20 degrees below average or more in most of these regions. So that's what happens when you get temperatures that are this far below normal. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at that potential snowfall. We're going to take a look at a map of the kind of simulated radar and also the total snowfall map. And then we're going to get into the rest of our model run, and we're even going to take a little bit of a look at the European model as well and kind of compare what that one's saying. All right, so here we are taking a look at what's going to be maybe 8 p.m. on Sunday, October 18th. And as you can see, the GFS model has a little bit of snowfall there for Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, portions of Michigan and Ohio as well. This is a bit further south than even this model has had it recently, so I'm not really sure if it's going to be this far south. I think it's much more likely that we would have an event from Iowa through Chicago, maybe into Michigan. This is pretty far south. We'll be watching this. Again, the Facebook page is where we're going to be doing more frequent updates. I know I'm plugging that really hard, but really we do update that so frequently. A lot of you have gone over there and liked it, so I appreciate all the support. Really, let's take a look at the total snowfall map. Again, just too far south, I think, and really the European model doesn't even have this. So we're going to take this one with a massive grain of salt. It's only this model and the Canadian model showing this. As we move forward, we will be talking about this more, whether it's going to happen or if it really just fizzles out and isn't showing anything. Take this with a massive grain of salt. It's very far out. But still, the most important thing is this model is showing snow chances coming up, which is interesting for this time of year. Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio. Maybe a general 1 to 3 inches is possible, but mostly just a dusting. This is not the accumulated snowfall. This is the total snowfall. So this is what will fall out of the sky. If any of this accumulates, it would probably be a dusting, if anything. So you would maybe see flakes. We're really going to need to move forward and just see how that plays out. Now, let's move towards October 20th, and as you can see, we're still in a colder pattern, mostly here on our GFS model. Same story as we move towards Monday, the 26th. This is towards the end of the model run. Very widespread greens there for the upper Midwest, the Ohio Valley, the Northeast. So very cold pattern to close out October on this model. Notice the western United States is very warm. That's a positive P&A pattern is what we'd call that. And that encourages colder air in the east. And that's exactly why that's happening on this model run. As we take a look at the European model, it has that first cool down. So everything within the shorter range that we saw in the GFS certainly happens on the European model as well. The nor'easter with the snowfall, all of it. However, it's as we move towards the 21st, so I would say the moderate range, that's where things turn very different than the GFS model. Like actually the complete opposite. We see colder than normal conditions for the entire West Coast and the Rockies and the upper Midwest, and then very warm for the South Central, the Southeast, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, the Northeast, all of it very warm. And even there for the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes, and the Northeast, those kind of grayish shades are 15 to 30 degrees above average. So it's a significant difference from the GFS to the European model. And that's why these moderate range outlooks, we got to be really careful, because sometimes you have models showing the complete opposite, which is basically a toss-up. I showed you guys what the GFS was saying. Now I'm showing you what the European model is saying. We're going to have to see which one of these models ends up being right. Now, I will say by the 24th, which is the furthest out the European model goes, it does start to show that cool down entering more of the central United States, heading towards the eastern United States, but still very warm for that eastern, I would say, fourth of the United States. Very cold for the central United States to end things, and maybe even some warmth there for the West Coast starting to develop a little bit there for California, which could indicate a positive PNA pattern upcoming on the European model as well. Either way, the moderate range is quite opposite on both of these models. Eventually, we will see one bend to the other one, and that's when we will see a very increased amount of confidence in what the upcoming pattern is going to look like. Anyway, guys, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, do you think that New England will see snowfall from that upcoming nor'easter? And Everything Weather said, I think New England will get at least a decent few inches of snowfall, maybe around 4 to 8 inches. And really, that's what the European model has been saying for a long time. Even the accumulated snowfall, it thinks a general 4 inches plus for Vermont, New Hampshire, and upper portions of Maine, possibly even upstate New York. This is going to be a very mountain-based snowfall if it does occur, mostly elevation-based. So I don't want you guys to think this is going to be a very widespread snow event, because at this point, that doesn't seem likely. Anyway, for today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our diamond patrons, Alicia Davis, Madbird, Cindy Klein, Dan Hazard, and Mark J, alongside our platinum patrons, Donna Carnes and Larry LePan. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.